my very, and I stress very, special guest today on the Red Couch. They're all special guests, but I'm particularly pleased to have Paul the Surfer Bourne as my guest today on the Red Couch, as we continue our series of meeting really interesting and fascinating people who've done exciting things with their lives, who've lived in many cases outside of the box, who've challenged the traditional stereotypes, and who've done exciting things that many of us wish we could do. We think about it, but probably haven't done. So let me start first and foremost by asking Paul the Surfer Bourne. Now, did the surfer come from surfing in your rally driving, or is that a surfing from actual surfing in the ocean? So where did the name of surfer come from?
From a very early age, I was in the water and surfing. And I actually got the name the surfer when I became president of the Barbados Surfing Association, and I went on TV one night for something to do with an event that was coming up, and a customs officer at the time that I used to do the customs work for P.E.G Farm, and this one customs officer said that he saw me last night on TV, and he called me the surfer, and somehow that spread from there
and stuck.
And I stuck.
So Paul, what was people always wonder, you see people in their public persona and so on, but you don't necessarily know a lot about their background and so on. So tell us a little bit about growing up. What was life like for you growing up? Where did you go to school? What were your interests as a young teenager? That kind of stuff. Other than partying, because I
did some of that too. Yeah.
I know you did some of that. We all did. Yeah.
Well, I grew up in Rockby, in a neighborhood, and I have very fond memories of my childhood, like right up to, right up to 21, let's say. So the first 3 7-year cycles, they say we develop in 7-year cycles apparently. I would say I had a good upbringing. My parents were together and stayed together, still together. Both of them staunch Roman Catholics, so I went to church every Sunday. So I got that stable family, religious, kind of foundation, and I was happy. I would say, like, for the most part, like I have no real terrible memories of that period in my life.
Let's talk about your rallying days. You made quite a name for yourself in rallying and so on. So how do you get involved in that? And are you done with rallying? Is it something still in your blood?
So I started rallying when I was 21 because I just went and watched. I didn't have a clue about motorsport at all. I didn't know anything about cars and vehicles and engines and mechanics and any of that. I was a surfer and a sailor and a windsurfer and a swimmer and a diver and I was a water person.
In the ocean.
I was in the ocean my whole childhood up to that point. And but I went and watched a couple of rallies, and that's what did it. I think I watched 3 or 4, and then a good friend of mine, Sean Gill, had just started rallying, and Andrew Malou was with him, and Roger Hill. So those were like 3 guys who were my age that I knew, and they started rallying. And Sean Gill encouraged me to come and say, come on, bring the car and come.
So tell me a little bit about your vision, how you got involved in creating this multifaceted, multi-dimensional, multi-sectoral kind of thing called P.E.G Farm, and explain to our viewers, what exactly does P.E.G mean?
I started to do a course that a lot of the personal trainers in Barbados do, is from the National Academy of Sports Medicine, NASM. It's an American academy, and you can do an online course. So I started to do that, and then a cousin of mine in Trinidad, his wife is a trainer in Trinidad, and she said, look, Paul, if we're very friendly, she said, look, Paul, if you're gonna seriously get into this, you need to go to Camp Fit in Toronto. While I was there, I met a guy called Paul Bourne, who's from California, and he's the founder of an institute called the Czech Institute that does holistic lifestyle coaching. One of the things he pointed out is that food, the quality of food that I was eating, he said, man, you're eating so badly, so much processed foods, and that's a big part of why you have this back pain too. So he said you need to eat organic, organically, and you need to get grass-fed meats and eat good, healthy, whole foods. And when I started looking for the good, healthy food in Barbados, is when I realized we don't have it. That really was the fundamental reason.
Catalyst.
That was the catalyst to start the project, and then add on stuff like wanting to have a place where you could go and connect to nature. So that was a big part of Paul's treatment plan to me too. In fact, the first thing he taught me to do when I went to see him, the first time I went to see him, the first thing he did was take me outside barefoot on the lawn under a tree and teach me the principles of Tai Chi. He explained to me that when you do free range animal husbandry, what you want to do is mimic the ideal environment that animal would live in naturally, like if it were in the wild.
Let's look now at that campsite in the remaining minutes that we have here as we bring it home.
Yeah,
P.E.G Farm and Nature Reserve. So as much as farm was definitely like the main driver, a big part of it, as I said earlier, was still about, like having a natural environment. You could be stressed out and studying all kinds of stuff, and just go and take a walk through a gully, and just allow yourself to kind of open to the environment you're in, and it will melt the stress.
By the way, P.E.G, we were to explain that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Project Eco Green, pretty as about as generic as you could get. You hear the word project and you think, okay, it's about something. And when you hear eco and green together, you immediately just think the environment and that kind of stuff. So that was the initial thought, but the slogan that I then attached to it is where the real meaning is, which is it's all about people, environment, and growth. So meaning, if you find the right people, they can create a beautiful environment, and then you get positive growth. I never had the intention to own and operate the whole thing. And I saw a lot of different factions from the beginning, campsite, the restaurant. We have a school there as well, Beyond the Box Education. My relationship is directly with the entrepreneurs, and P.E.G then is more like a concept than it is, a trading business, so to speak.
Well, Paul, thank you. It's been a fascinating morning here on the Red Couch. I knew it would be because I had these informal chats with you. I love the breakfast at P.E.G. I haven't been for lunch, but I've done breakfast, and it's different. It's organic, but it's tasty. Sometimes we think organic, and we think it's probably going to taste like
or something,
cardboard or something. But not at all. It's a lovely place. It's breezy. It's so open and fresh. It's like another world up there. So thank you for sharing your vision. And of course, we at Capital Media wish you all success with it. And we want to continue to be supportive and to see it grow and expand and get us back to that more holistic, natural way of living, which our foreparents did and which represents a healthy lifestyle. So thank you for taking that vision, being bold enough. A lot of us have thought about doing a lot of things. You not only thought about doing them, but you have actually taken the risk and gone up there and done it. And we really congratulate you and salute you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Our very special guest today, Paul the Surfer Bourne, the man behind the vision, the energy, and the execution of what is P.E.G Farm. If you haven't been to the P.E.G Farm, you need to go tomorrow.